when you do that to somebody.
Well, the new thing is, my immune system is this and that, and I ask them like, well, how does your immune system learn? And they go crazy. But by the way, it's to come in contact with the pathogen, meaning that you can't, no matter how much you eat clean, your body will not be able to fight a pathogen until it comes in contact with it, right? So you can't just know one thing without the other. And the problem, I guess, even with those conversations, isn't the ignorance, it's the arrogance.
How did we get here?
We was talking about.
You talking about?
Well, it's all ties. I think this all ties in. It's all ties into learning the issues. We were talking about masculinity and femininity, and then we went to the side with ants some type of way. But then we got to nutrition and things like that. And the reason, the issue, I guess, what I can build everything into is that even all these conversations we're having assumes that people have a baseline understanding of the subject at hand, a clear understanding.
I just made a video about that this morning.
And people aren't clear about a lot of things that we decide to have these conversations with. There's a lot of pitfalls and holes in our knowledge. And because of such, when we have so much brouhaha to say things, it may be coming from a place of ignorance, a place of
arrogance,
and things like that. And I think that's why we have so much friction, is that if you can't define a man and a woman in your terms, be open enough to let people live their lives, but then define the things that you want for your community, for your building, then what's the purpose of this? What's the point?
I mean, I think ultimately this is what's going to happen. You just said it only takes 3% to start a revolution.
3%.
What's going to happen is this is what's going to is going to be our survival. I think is going to be contingent upon this.
Yeah.
The black men and the black women that want to nation build and live in community, we are just going to have to connect. And the people that don't, let them go on with their, let's divest from black men, let's divest from black women, let's, let the anti-black male, the anti-black female that goes on, let them engage in that and let them have it.
It's self-destructive, so they're going to die off.
Yeah, so it's just the black people that get it, that want to live in community in a healthy context and really want to nation build, as you said. We're going to have to link up.
Yeah. We're going to have it. And then the next step is that we're going to have to educate our children. And then not even that, it's not even, the way I see it is the children aren't even going to, they're like the experiment. It's going to be their kids that's going to either see whether or not what we do, it works. It's interesting because, being a man and to be called toxic or something, or to be called evil or this and that, without any proof for what I've done is in itself is destructive. I think any woman who doesn't have men around them who love them and take care of them, I think it's sad. So it's really just a double-edged sword.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I got to the point where, and it hurts to say this because I never thought I would get to this point. I got to the point maybe a year or two ago where I just wouldn't acknowledge women in public.
Why so?
Because I don't know what I'm going to get. Like, it could be a, hey, how you doing? Or, your hair looks nice. And so much could be read into that. And with the whole, I think it's almost a hyper-awareness of the Me Too thing.
So, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's why I said the onus is upon men for this matter. Is what you said there is facts. I feel you on that. You know what's going to happen. But I also will say is that I realize a lot of us guys, we go out into the world, again, without any idea of what we're doing. We go, for example, what I mean is, okay, we go, like I do business again. I do business, finance, all this stuff. So whenever I'm out doing something, I'm out on an errand. Meaning I have a place to go to that I'm fulfilling my purpose, my goals. So if I see somebody who I like or I think is nice, whatever the case may be, if I choose to say something, that means that I'm opening up myself. I don't have to say shit. I can sit here and be like, and just, oh man, in my mind, oh, she look good, keep moving. But if I say, hey, yo, you look good, either I'm trying to build you up or I'm trying to say, shoot, what you doing later? Or, we have to understand, like I said, where we're moving in our own purpose. Because like I said, as guys, and this is going to be for men here, is that we want to keep hollering at all these women and stuff like that all the time. And the reason we can do this, like we said earlier, is because we only give pieces of ourselves. If we were to go ahead and look, I'm 35 years old. If I were to got married at 22, so for example, then I wouldn't be chasing the women. I'll still be building my family or building. Am I sure? I'm not sure because it's unfalsifiable. But I would imagine because when I'm in relationships, it takes away that need or urge to talk to other women and even care too much, and that care goes down.
Men like you exist?
Well, it goes down because women don't understand this, but y'all are hard to deal with.
Hey, listen, when I was in middle school, I was at a barbershop, and this OG told me, he said, "Young man, any man that can deal with multiple women at one time is insane." And at first I was like, when he dropped that jewel, I just like, whatever.
You lucky or found some fucking unicorns or something.
But as I got older, I realized because I've always felt like one woman in herself is a galaxy.
Yeah, it's too much. And that's what I was saying is that as guys, that's why we give pieces of ourselves. Is that we don't want to deal with all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that is an issue. That's what I said about men having to be able to build around themselves. Is once you say, you know what, I'm going to deal with this woman. Yeah, she does this and that, but I'm going to show her the right way, the best way I can. I'm not saying I'm the master or anything like that, but I'm going to do the best that I can with this one woman. And you ain't got, look, first, like I do film and video also on the side. If I'm not writing something or trying to find a location or something like that, I don't want to be thinking about my next woman. I don't. I want
to. This is the way you said it.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't. Now I do because I'm single. Because it's a piece of me that wants to be, That
underscore Tahuti. What's your Gmail? Get at him, lady.
Ain't no pictures on there right now. I just deleted everything. But
okay.
But end of the day, what I was getting upon is that that's why I put the onus on men. Is that too many of us are out here without any purpose.
Damn.
And too many of us are out here, like I said, just kind of like opening the hearts of women just so we can get some butt. You know what I'm saying?
But see, my thing is, in the words of the late great Eazy-E, Eric Wright, any man that thinks all women are ladies is a fool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So because I feel like what you're saying is, I feel like it could be taken as, see, it's y'all men fault. Y'all be out here y'all just be half. Yeah. And my thing is, no. I think a big misconception is that all women want to be wives. Or want to be girls, or want to be.
Yeah, misconception. I got you. No,
some women want to get like.
Like I said, that we're talking
just
about
bust it open.
We said that, and that's what I mean. Once again, is that if you're a guy and you don't ask the woman what did you want? You want some fun, or you want a husband, or whatever you're trying to get to her?
And I might lose some followers for saying this, but fuck it. I think we need to accept the reality that some women ain't shit.
Oh no, you ain't gonna lose me from that because I've said this for a minute. I said we got to the point where if we can't talk bad about the bum bitches in our community, then we have lost ourselves in general.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's gonna lose some things. I don't know, but we have to talk about the misbehaving women. We talk about misbehaving men all the time. We have to be. We can't keep protecting them. Just because they're women.
So we can't protect them
because they can't. They're not the bum ones because they're the ones having 10 kids and using abortion as birth control. They exist. They exist. And if we can't say, hey, that's not what we want, without having to say, oh, you're a man, how dare you talk about black women? I'm not talking about black women. I'm talking about that particular one in that particular situation. Because I don't want my daughters, my mama, my aunties, I want nobody who I love to be in a position to where people are going to use you, abuse you, and you're going to act like, oh, it's our fault that you placed yourself in that position. Because predators exist.
Definitely.
They exist. I don't care how much we try to be as nice as they exist. And the reason they exist is because people out there are prey. You know what I'm saying? And we can't have, it's too many of y'all.
And go ahead.
I'm done.
Let me add to that. I'm quoting rappers today. In the words of the late great Chad Butler, pimping ain't dead, it just moved to the web. And the thing that blows my mind is, and if you so choose to live this lifestyle, okay, cool. If you want to commodify yourself, I can respect. It's not like the pimp essentially was the middleman.
Yeah.
But now the middleman, like pimping,
man, yeah.
I mean the feds call it human trafficking now. But
Yeah, whatever.
pimping as we knew it, that's totally been restructured. I mean, like on my Twitter account, on the daily, I get inbox messages. Hey, $120 for meetups, $60 to watch me play with my vagina, $50 for pictures, and X amount of dollars for head. And I'm just looking at it like, how did we get to this point? This is soliciting.
It's because so the internet did another thing. Internet connected so many subgroups of people that you can do almost anything and make money, regardless if you find it moral or not. And because of that, that's another piece about the arrogance puzzle that we talked about earlier, is that you can be somewhat successful in your bullshit. And because of that, a lot of people believe higher of themselves than they really are, because they feel as if it's objective rather than subjective. For example, that's why you can have people arguing with the medical field and they're post people. You know,
Go ahead.
Well, the last thing I was going to say is that that type of argument just shows that, like I said, like they disrespect the type of work and knowledge necessary for that. But you can say what you
I had, and I got the file. If the homie wanna, take it there, I still got the file. I spent 30 minutes explain. I'm studying to become. I'm thinking, okay, dude, I'm studying to become an RN. I put in the pain. I put in the hours to learn this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I kept telling him, a vaccine is not a cure. This whole time, he's going back and forth with me. You can get vaccinated and still get it. And it's like, I don't want to be condescending and use all these scientific medical terms that he has no reference of.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep trying to simplify it. But I got to the point where it's like, I can't make it any more simpler than this. And I think when you have a scientific mind, you become more humble, to me, because it's like,
you got to.
I realize there's a whole...
You realize how much you don't know.
Yes.
You start to realize that the simplest things you thought you had a very strong grasp of, you did not at all.
And you asked me something this summer. No, was it last summer? You were like, what are hormones?
Right. I tell people that, like, hormones, vitamins.
I couldn't answer that. Now I can answer that question.
And now that means that your synthesis and how you use it is going to be structured differently. And that's just how it works. Once you define a lot, that's why I said we haven't defined masculinity or femininity at all during this whole conversation. Therefore, we haven't defined what is a healthy relationship. We have not defined what is a man, what is a woman. We haven't defined nothing. So now, in your mind, you're going to be thinking of a million things. In the next person's mind, there will be a million things. And we will get nowhere but arguments with this. Because we have nothing that we're grabbing onto so that we can have discussions about. Back to the nutrition real quick. If I were to say, your nutrition, we say, oh, well, let's talk about minerals. That's one of the tenets of nutrition and whatnot. Then we can talk about what the body doesn't have and what it needs and what it makes and things like that. The conversation gets more complex. Because we have a baseline of understanding. But if I say, hey, men, you need to be out there and be men. Yeah, you know what the hell a man is? You're going to develop and try to think of ways. Bro, it's been thousands, hundreds of thousands of years of men. I make jokes nowadays when I talk to some of the ladies in my family and I come back with something. I said I had to go back and talk to the guys so I get some of this ancient man wisdom. The wisdom that's passed down through lineages to us. We have to go back and understand that our ancestors weren't dumb. They knew how to be themselves. To be able to survive,
I mean, for your lineage to be perpetuated.
They knew how to be themselves.
We want to say we aren't our ancestors.
We definitely are our ancestors. It's just like I said earlier, is that if we're going to start, let's use the 70s again as our beginning point. We're about 3 generations past that, and at least the 3rd generation being born now, and we have not, like I said, fully defined what it means to be a human.
And I like how you say how education should start. It shouldn't necessarily be about facts and then from data.
I didn't say today, but yeah, I always thought that the first parts of life should be taught of how to be a human, rather than starting off with how to read and how to write, stuff like that. Which is something that you need to learn a little piece of that, but it just more emphasis about behavior about what is expected of you, about choice, decisions, about your role as a child. Because children, children probably has it worse than most of us because they live in a authoritarian environment. Whatever the parents say goes. So therefore, we need to make sure our parents are smart enough and intelligent enough to make sure what the things that they say go actually doesn't hurt or harm the child psychologically or physically. And I think, like I said, the first few years is how to treat each other. Because then once you learn how to treat each other, then you can learn your math and your sciences and that. Because you won't use that against your fellow person.
Exactly.
You use it to grow. Go ahead,
And somebody was telling me, oh, I don't understand why we got to go to college and take all these extra classes. And I thought about it. If I didn't take classes in the humanities, and I only took microbiology, A&P 1, A&P 2,
how you gonna deal with people?
I would turn into a freaking Marvel supervillain.
Yeah, how would you deal with people? Because you would have no connection to the spirit of people.
Right.
Well, how could you be a doctor and not want to deal with people in pain? That means they're not gonna come in like, "Hey, doctor, how you doing? Hey, my arm is cut off." And they go, "Oh, motherfucker, this and that." They go, "Hey, calm down, I got you."
Right.
You got to deal with people. We are a social creature.
Right.
There was a study they said, yo, you can have a robot. They say you have a newborn baby, and you have that robot that can feed it, change its diaper, and if there was nobody around this baby, that baby would die. Not because of malnutrition, the will to live would die. Because we need people. We need that type of dialogue, of love, of wonderment. We need this. This is a part of human condition. And even if you don't get it from humans, you're gonna go to the animals with it. I want an animal, a dog, a cat, or if you
want to connect with something.
We are. Everything is connected. First of all, is connected. You know what I'm saying? So that want to connect is just a part of you. And like I said, just without going too far to left or right, and I think, like I said, a lot of reason why we don't like each other is because we don't like ourselves, and we don't like the earth that we inherited from our parents and grandparents.
And that the lady in post-traumatic slave syndrome, that's what she said. She was saying